You're listening to a podcast on the Podfix Network.
Hey, all you cowboys out there, and welcome back to Little Bits and Pieces with Walrus. I am your main host for the evening, Jeffrey Fella. With me, as always, are my two much lesser, not as important, kind of but less than assistant hosts, like assistant janitors. You guys can take it from here. Say your dumb little names.
Me, Matt Walker. Yeah.
And it's me, Christian Torres.
And I'm happy to have you guys back on my show. It's always good to have, I think, to bring in sort of an outside perspective from people who don't really know what improv is. And I think you guys provide that, whereas I kind of provide this master perspective that goes a little deeper. So maybe we could kind of go with that energy. Yeah, sorry.
I'm in this weird like headspace right now where I'm in like a nexus point, like a decision point where it's like I could choose to like follow what I'm feeling, which is anger for being slighted, or I could go along with this bit, and I don't know which one to go with right now. And I'm like, because I'm feeling a little like, oh man, I'm feeling disrespected right now.
Can I tell you, I very similarly are grappling with that, but I have just come to terms with the resignation. That's where I landed.
Okay, I can flow with the punches then. I'll go with the bit. I'll go with the bit.
Yeah, just know that we live outside of this, and that
we are like full people, with feelings and stuff.
Is that a threat? Is that a threat?
No, we're just saying that you.
But you're like, we live outside
trouble.
of this, and we know where you live. Like,
though we're just not like characters, We're just like we're people with emotions and like feelings about the world.
Yeah, and we have another podcast that we've been doing where we just disparage you the whole time.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
So it's okay. We get it out of our systems on there.
Right.
What podcast is that? What's that called?
You've Got a Friend in Anyone But Jeff, and it's a mouthful. It's a bit of a mouthful, but
it's an RSS feed oriented one. Like we set it all up, but we blocked your email.
Right,
so
right. What sort of content is it?
Every episode is a different guest that's specifically not you.
Yeah,
but it's about me.
No, we disparage you at the top, but once the guest
even the
comes,
guest,
it's all about the guest.
Yeah.
How do you get that many guests that would be willing to? I don't even know how you'd find one, but let alone many. Well,
I guess they don't research. They have to do research at the top. Most of them don't know who you are, but when we tell them your story, they're down with it.
When we tell them how we feel about you, they usually that's where they get their research from.
Kind of one-sided.
So far, no one's liked you. Yeah,
it's a little one-sided. Well, I'll have you guys know I do a podcast called I Need a Friend, which is not to be confused with any other podcast that might be out there. It's Jeff Needs a Friend.
Interesting.
I do one called WTF.
Is that
with Mark Maron?
Oh,
it's not the one you're thinking of, though. It's different. It's my own. It's my own spin on the subject.
I do one. Oh, sorry, Christian.
No, I do one called Serial. It's.
Let me guess. It's spelled differently.
No, it's actually spelled the same. It's just about like the planning portion of it.
Oh, it's about the podcast.
it's about the work that goes.
That's very confusing.
Yeah, it's about the work that goes into the podcast.
Huh.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Have you guys been watching The Last of Us?
I have been.
Or any show that's come out in the past year?
I mean, I've been watching The Last of Us, which has.
They have those great little things at the top that are like, listen to our companion podcast.
Oh yeah.
Every show
Huh.
has a companion podcast now, and I feel so bad for the actors having to do all this dumb shit.
Oh, do they have the actors on the podcast?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what's weird to me is that I actually have less of an interest in like the show's version of the podcast. It's like because I'm sure like they'll have people on the show on it to talk about it, which is interesting. But I'd rather hear people talk about like their real opinions on the show, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like they're never gonna say like, yeah, that was a shit episode if they're making the show.
It's this perpetual spin cycle we're in. Jeez Louise, what is this? A laundromat? I'm going to
So
put some
today's
laugh
topic
track in there
is,
just so you know.
yeah. So today's topic is going to
I have
be
that power.
about
I have that ability.
Matt, I'm trying to talk. Is about Crazy Town and like, what's the deal? Like when improvisers go to Crazy Town, is it good? Is it bad? How can I get a ticket? Who lives there? Who dies there? You know, what sort of secrets are buried under the foundations of the town hall of Crazy Town? And so maybe we can kind of get into that and dig a little deeper and learn a little bit about each other and about what makes a scene crazy and why crazy is bad and maybe when crazy can be good.
Banana.
Okay, that's good, Matt.
It's like pretty fucking crazy, man. Right?
Oh, because you're being crazy.
Yeah, it's
Let me
pretty-
hold on.
pretty
Let
wild,
me
man.
think of
It's more of a
something
non
crazy.
sequitur. I don't.
Let me think of something crazy. Let me think of something
Are
crazy.
non sequiturs and
I put my balls in a can opener.
Yeah, it's pretty
in a
crazy.
can? Oh, I don't. That's just that's violence.
Well,
Baba
it's crazy
Booey.
too. Oh, now that's crazy.
No,
pretty
Baba
fucking
Booey's
crazy.
not. If there's context,
Isn't that
what if
crazy?
what if he's a guy that says Baba Booey? That's grounded.
I know, but that's Christian.
Yeah, I would never say that.
He would never.
So it's pretty fucking
But he
crazy.
but he just did.
But that
well,
wasn't
that was
Christian.
me being crazy.
Yeah.
What character? What character were you?
Minion. I was a minion.
So you're saying a
Both
minion?
of my two previous lines were minions. Yeah.
Okay, I could tell
So
the first one, but
Yeah, that's why I said
minions
banana.
say banana.
Well,
Yeah.
now Christian, I'm kind of going
as
back on
our
this.
merch will attest to.
Yeah, I'm kind of going back. I don't think that was that crazy then. If you're being a minion, minions
Well,
aren't crazy.
Minions are crazy.
Minions.
Minions are crazy though.
No.
Matt, can you use this second to plug the merch?
Look, I not jokingly, I actually have a Illustrator template on my computer that is like a university style sweatshirt, and all it says is "Minions say banana." Since whatever year the movie came out.
This is
It's not available anywhere, but I have it on my computer.
Keep a lookout for it.
It is a catchphrase. This is a very low effort to establish this is a catchphrase, but it is a catchphrase on the show. So minions say banana. Look out for it.
Keep an ear out for it because we'll keep saying it. Because
say
we
it by
need
the
to make,
water cooler.
We need to make the
like,
merch make sense. So
yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. So what else is crazy?
So what happens when you come into a scene and it's like somebody is they're just really like a tree and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a tree." And then the person is like I don't know what's crazy for it. Like, I can talk. It's a talking tree. That's pretty crazy. It's the best I got.
if you want to just say that sentence again but faster, we can cut out the first part. Where
what happens when it's a talking tree? Talking trees are crazy. Matt, what's the craziest? What's an example of Crazy Town that you've seen? Not recently, just in general.
Thank you. I'm not going to throw anyone under a bus here.
Sure.
No. Crazy Town. I think people confuse Crazy Town for bad scene moves sometimes.
Right.
Though going to Crazy Town is a bad scene move. I don't think it's like.
But can you give an example?
Well, I guess it probably behooves us to define what we mean when we say Crazy Town, because like you said, I think there is a difference between making a choice that is weird and going to Crazy Town.
Right.
I think are different things. Because people, whenever they say go to Crazy Town, very few people say, "Hey, good job going to Crazy Town."
Well, they might, but just like, "Hey, jerk off. Good job going to Crazy Town.
Yeah.
You ruined my
Well,
scene.
what is that? I have heard that expression people say a lot, which is like taking the local train to Crazy Town as opposed to taking the express train to Crazy Town. Have you guys heard this before or no?
No, I have
No.
not.
No,
Don't
have you
know
not?
what that could possibly mean.
No, so okay, so I don't know. This is good then. I thought this was a common expression that you guys would know. So I have heard people talk about.
Now we're just talking about a phrase that
Well,
none
it's
of us have
relevant.
heard.
It's in an
That's
improv
totally
in an
rad.
improv context. In an improv
I didn't know
context.
that. Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was just like a phrase.
No,
I was like,
no,
well,
this is
that's weird.
this is like a note that I've gotten before.
Oh,
which is-
interesting.
So because I do think people mean different things when they say Crazy Town. I think I forget even who it was who would talk about this, but I had people who would advocate like if trying to taking the local train to Crazy Town as opposed to taking the express train to Crazy Town. So it was kind of that difference of like getting to a weird place naturally and organically as opposed to like jumping like head first into like going to the weirdest place possible immediately. And like I like even saying this out loud, I don't necessarily know if it's a philosophy I ascribe to, but simply something I've encountered before.
I mean, that sounds like just it's something that's insane, but it's grounded, right?
Is it a compliment?
I think it's just more like a note, and I don't necessarily know if it's a compliment. I think it's more just like being aware of how you get to like going to zany places as like
Yeah.
a go-to move as opposed to happening to end up there as like as a natural invention of the
Yeah.
scene or something. Like I said, it's not my philosophy, so maybe I could be describing it poorly, but
I think the real issue, my take on Crazy Town is you can have a scene about something that's preposterous, but if it's connected to a game or a bit that's understood by the audience, that's intelligible, I think, or at least by the other improvisers on your team or whatever, I think that it kind of circumnavigates, or at least, yes, a bit can be insane, but then I wouldn't call that Crazy Town. I think Crazy Town is when you rely on something being so preposterous given the circumstances in the scene that's already been established, or if those circumstances haven't even been established, that's what you're hoping is funny to the audience, that you come out as a camel that sells, speedboats. And you're like, isn't that funny? And then there's no game there. There's no, and no one can really keep up with where you went. I think that's where it becomes. Now, if you have a good bit about a camel that sells speedboats, then you have something. But
it kind of reminds me a little bit, and it's not the same thing, but it kind of reminds me of the same reason people like say to avoid going blue a lot, which is like people go to like cursing or go to swearing or go to just being crazy as like these go-to like moves to try to be funny in an inorganic way as opposed to trying to just actually being funny. You just like make up some bizarre random bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's something that a lot of more novice improvisers do in the same way that more novice improvisers joke out in the same way. Because it essentially is like a joke. You're giving information as a joke that is nearly impossible for your scene partners to grapple with. Like the best examples is when someone comes out and they'll be standing there and it'll be like, I just killed your wife, and it'd be like, what?
Right.
It's the things that warrant that response. I feel like it's someone just going, what? Like, why would you do that? Like, you've given us no room to get there eventually,
Again, there's like context is, if it's two people in a sweat room and, there's this sort of intimate setting and they're talking and there's a vulnerability and that's funny. Okay, that's one thing. But like you're at the grocery store and the cashier says it to you randomly, as you're checking out. I don't know. That might actually be
I
funny.
feel like sometimes people go to Crazy Town on total accident because they think that their thought process is visible and apparent to everyone.
Right.
Sounds like a jab.
But sometimes Jeff just doesn't understand
Okay.
in both contexts, what's being given to him, or because Jeff Jeff always complains after every scene. He goes, "That was Crazy Town."
Right.
I still feel. I wonder now. I'm taking a step back and looking at an audience, looking at this from our audience's perspective. Have we done a good enough job at defining what Crazy Town is?
You mean like for the audience of this podcast, or you mean in our shows?
I mean,
because when I cheat out and say that was Crazy Town, I feel like the audience, because okay, for those of you who haven't seen our show, usually what happens is Matt comes on as this boring character. It's always a boring character,
it's
like
very
a barista.
Grounded.
Or
really normal,
or somebody who sells coffee, or like a tea salesman, or something like that. And then
they
I
usually
come in,
sell caffeinated beverages.
Yeah. Sure, well, whatever,
matcha
or decaf, but anyway, I come on and then I say something really interesting and funny to spice up the scene, like, "Oh, actually, I'm a T-Rex, so I can't drink coffee," because they have stubby arms. Or I'll be like, "Oh, actually, I'm a brontosaurus, so I can't drink." Coffee or whatever, because of the neck. And then I always cheat out, which the audience loves, and I say that was Crazy Town, and then the audience all claps in unison, in syncopated unison, and I
Just
think
one clap.
and
that would be impressive.
That's theater. And so I think Crazy Town, as long as you declare it to the audience.
Even your joke actually had a pretty solid. That was a pretty good example of Crazy Town. It's like when
good
something
meaning positive.
What?
Good meaning positive, or good like you hit?
No, like it was a good example of it. It was good. It's the idea of like everyone sets up that they're working in a coffee shop.
Right.
It's like, all right, Steven, and then the coffee comes up, and it's like, I can't have oat milk. I'm a T-Rex. And it's like, what? You just created a world that just obliterated the reality.
I got some surprises for you next show. But,
I think what it does for me is it expands the reality too quickly to everything, because you can have a coffee shop that serves dinosaurs, but you have to be like, you have to have it justified. You can't just. So whenever it goes to Crazy Town, it's always this backpedaling of justification that's kind of boring, because why they're doing it. It's because they have.
I think when you think about the sort of solipsism that accompanies the insanity that we're describing, I think that's what really is at the heart of the matter, because the individual comes into the scene and is sort of experiencing a reality that is not the reality that's established, and it's presented so quickly that that no one, the audience, the other improvisers, even the individual that brought it up, cannot piece that together.
They startle themselves.
Because I tend to think of it as like when you talk about like discovery versus invention, like I think of it like Crazy Town as like full inventing something that wasn't there at all, that wasn't really playing off of, or if it was playing off of something that existed, just took it like, way further than it needed to go. Because it's like, if you build on something but you don't build what was supposed to be there, it's like, did you really build anything, or did you just do some random shit that you wanted to do? Sometimes it's like a very selfish way to play.
It sounds like
putting up the roof before there's walls,
right?
Being like, oh, that's right, we need walls.
That's a nice veiled jab at Matt.
My question is, how do you, because we've all experienced it, how do you get out of it?
Right.
You shrug and say, what?
You go, that's Crazy Town.
Well, that's what I do. That's my trademark. Don't do that.
I look out to the audience and I say, I gotta go.
And then
I leave.
That's not honestly, that ain't a bad choice, because I feel like the easiest way is just to cut the scene. It's just to
That's
be
true.
like, we're done with
edits.
this now.
Really, I think edits should happen more, and people need to not be sensitive that their scene got cut, unless, I don't know, even a good scene, if it gets cut, it gets cut. People make mistakes, but I think an edit is a...
What if you can't edit?
You're mad because I always edit your scenes? Your scenes suck. Anyway, Christian, what were you going to say?
I don't necessarily like trying to fix a scene that's already broken. It's like a
Yeah.
scene that like has already been shit. It's like there are these like you try to wait long enough as possible to get like one laugh line before cutting it. But I do think like if you follow that to its conclusion, like if the scene just never gets any better, you're waiting here for a very long time before you cut it. So I think there
And
is a big argument to be made for just putting it down as quick. Like the second it's like I'm a T-Rex, like fine, that's it, we're done here.
well,
You were T-Rex, and we're done. Okay, we're done.
sure, and that would get a laugh, but that is in the world of montage. Now, what if we are talking a narrative structure or a mono scene?
I'm editing that too. Fuck it.
You apologize.
Anything can become a montage with just a second.
So this leads to my next question: do you guys ever give refunds?
Look, no, but mostly because I've already spent it all.
That's quick. Minions say bananas.
Big crypto guy. Yeah, minions say bananas.
I guess that is how would you fix it, Matt? Like if you or not fix it, but if somebody does go to Crazy Town in a scene of yours, like what do you think's the best?
I feel like again, like we do jams. Obviously,
Right.
we've done them. You'll encounter people that go to Crazy Town, and then I don't know. You just have to, I think, just justify, and then to the point where like, because people that go to Crazy Town, they have like round trip tickets. They love just going back and forth. Like
that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean it's never one way. They never seem to learn their lesson, at least right then.
Well, that's the problem with justifying, because it does kind of reinforce the behavior, right? But that's what you're supposed to do. I one of my favorite things I ever heard was if you say it 3 times, it's true, which honestly has a lot of use outside of improv. But after the 3rd time that you're that T-Rex in that coffee shop, then it finally is like, yeah, okay, it's a dinosaur coffee shop, sure.
Yeah. Oh, I think just jumping into Crazy Town with them in a grounded way is the best way.
Right.
Because then it's like, yeah, this is a coffee shop that serves dinosaurs. Yeah, and ever since our dimensions collided with the BC version of Earth, we have to live alongside dinosaurs, and besides, the Earth is 2,000 years old.
Right, so it's like you justify and then try to ground it, and then try to make it grounded in some way to give you some stable ground to play anything off of.
Corral them as much as you can, being like, we're going to a nicer, calmer place.
Earth being 2,000 years old is a justification you go to a lot, actually. I've noticed.
Do you want to try a scene? I probably won't go there for.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to go to Crazy Town then, right? So you should initiate.
Yeah. I'll give you a suggestion of a gorgonzola cheese. Yeah.
All right, Matt. So you start. Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't really like gorgonzola cheese on my salads.
Oh, too bad. I'm a robot, and I killed your wife.
Well, the Earth is 2,000 years old.
You know what's funny is that I know we're doing an example of like what not to do. I swear we've done that exact scene in shows before. I swear.
Right,
the robot
and that
move,
says the same
specifically
thing.
The robot move we go to a lot.
We've done the robot
one. Let me do another one. Christian, give us another suggestion. I think.
Sure. Munster cheese.
Excuse me, manager, but the customer at seat 12 doesn't like Munster cheese on their chef's salad.
Why can't I find any fossils?
Well, that's because, say with me, everybody, the Earth is 2,000 years old. Now, did you record yourself saying that? All right, upload that to my SoundCloud and we can get an army going. Thanks, guys.
Is that what Matt's army is?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of guys that think the Earth is 2,000 years old.
Yeah, he does have his own faction of the fan base, which they call Matt's army.
They're called the Flat Earther Cowboys.
Oh no, Christian, what is my faction called? I don't think you can name your own faction.
The Fellas.
Even though I guess, oh shoot, yeah. For those of you who don't know, my last name is Guy, so Fella is funny.
Or maybe it's like fellas. Maybe it's like something like more catchy like that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it's the
that's not played at all.
fellatios.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That's
too.
really dumb and hurtful, honestly, Matt. Matt Walker. Should I say Matt walks slow?
Don't you
Oh shit.
fucking say that ever again to me.
I mean, I would assume he's kind of fast because I don't know. I've never clocked your speed, but you're pretty tall, so I feel like
I can
you'd
run
have like a good gait.
I can run the 10-meter dash in a solid 10 or 15 seconds.
In a solid 10 meters.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
true?
not-
Is there your real stats?
No, that's like absurdly slow.
I don't know.
Okay,
man. I
so
don't know
is
for the
it
fucking
true
metric
or not?
system.
It's
like that could-
true. I got flat feet.
What are Christians
Much like
fans
the earth.
called?
Well, that one's easy.
Fans, I don't know.
Fans. Well, his name's Christian. So
Christians. Christians, yeah. All right,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Crazy Town, I
was
think
a
that's the end of
game?
this
Want to talk
episode.
about minions again?
Yeah, I mean, you'd say bananas.
Yeah. Did you know that minions say banana?
Yeah, minions say banana.
And
Buy
if
our
you want
merch.
people to know that minions say banana, you can buy that merch.
Yeah, maybe
And
we
this-
start with stickers,
Hmm.
or maybe we just upload it to Google Image and tell people that they can
It's
print it out.
That'd be some pretty good merch. We upload the image, like you make a T-shirt out of this, but do Venmo us the money when you do it.
Please give us the price of a T-shirt.
Dude, you want to know when I was a kid, I used to print out pictures of Dragon Ball Z characters and like put them on a corkboard or whatever. Like,
Sure.
But I got so tired of cutting them out, like that I would just fold them over the edges and then pin them up. And I was
That's
like,
pretty lazy.
that is so lazy.
That's like
Yeah.
learning origami to not use scissors. That's pretty
Which
Yeah.
did you do all of the characters?
No, it would just
Did
be
you
like,
do any of the women characters?
I
Was it exclusively the women character?
maybe the android. I don't know,
Oh, okay.
13?
The robot
18.
woman. Yeah, 18. But
Well,
Hmm.
she actually is granted a wish and she becomes human. So
does she wish for that, or does Krillin?
I think she's dying, and I think Krillin brings her back. I don't know. I don't remember.
Wait, she's dying. I thought
They
she
have
was
a
robot.
baby.
They do have
Yeah.
a baby.
Robots can die, Christian.
Can they though?
Oh my God.
That's
You-
all the time
I
we
can
have for today, Cowboys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Get along
Bye.
now, you hear?
Yeehaw.
Hi, I'm Christian Torres from Walrus. If you're interested in supporting this show, the best thing that you can do is rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to check out walrus.com, that's WALLARES, for a full list of our socials, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Stay tuned for news about any live shows that we may have, and new episodes of Little Bits and Pieces come out every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
The show you've just listened to is a part of the Podfix Network. To listen to other shows on the network, head over to podfixnetwork.com, follow on Twitter @Podfix, and join the Podfix Nation at facebook.com/Podfix.